Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you worked for 2 full hours without checking your phone, opening social media, responding to a message, or letting your mind wander to something completely unrelated? If you are struggling to remember, you are not alone. In a world of constant notifications, endless distractions, and always-on connectivity, the ability to focus deeply on a single difficult task has become one of the rarest skills on the planet. And according to one of the most important books written in the last decade, it is also becoming one of the most valuable. Welcome to Book Essence, where we unlock the essence of every book so you get the wisdom without spending weeks reading. Today, we are breaking down Deep Work by Cal Newport, a book that will completely change how you think about focus, productivity, and the future of your career. Let us unlock it. What is deep work? Cal Newport opens with a definition that immediately makes you uncomfortable in the best possible way. Deep work is professional activity performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that pushes your cognitive capabilities to their absolute limit. It is the kind of work that creates new value, that produces results that are difficult to replicate, that genuinely moves things forward. Newport contrasts this with what most people spend most of their time doing: shallow work. Shallow work is logistical, repetitive, low-value activity performed while distracted, answering emails, attending unnecessary meetings, scrolling through updates, responding to messages. Shallow work feels productive because it keeps you busy, but busy is not the same as productive, and busy is definitely not the same as valuable. Newport makes a striking observation about the modern workplace. In most offices, the people who rise fastest, produce the most valuable work, and earn the most are not the ones who are most connected or most responsive. They're the ones who can disappear for hours at a time and emerge with something genuinely exceptional, something that required sustained, focused, undistracted thought that most people are no longer capable of delivering. Deep work is becoming rare at exactly the moment it's becoming most valuable. That combination creates an extraordinary opportunity for anyone willing to develop this skill. The deep work hypothesis. Newport builds his entire book around what he calls the deep work hypothesis. The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare and increasingly valuable in our economy. Therefore, the few people who cultivate this skill and make it the core of their professional lives will thrive. He supports this with 3 powerful observations. First, high-skilled workers who can work with complex systems and produce at an elite level will always be in demand, and producing at that elite level requires deep work. Second, superstars in every field, the best programmer, the best designer, the best writer have a massive advantage over merely good performers, and the gap between superstar and merely good is almost always built through accumulated hours of deep work. Third, owners and creators, people who build things of lasting value, have always relied on the ability to focus deeply for extended periods without distraction. Newport is not saying shallow work has no place. Email must be answered, meetings sometimes happen, messages need responses. He's saying that if shallow work fills most of your day and deep work gets only the leftover scraps of your attention, you will always be producing at far below your true potential. And in a competitive world, far below potential is eventually not enough. The 4 philosophies of deep work. This is where the book gets deeply practical. Newport presents 4 different approaches to scheduling deep work into your life and argues that different approaches suit different people and different careers. The first approach is the monastic philosophy. This means eliminating or radically minimizing shallow obligations to protect maximum time for deep work. Think of a novelist who disconnects completely for months to write a book. No social media, no email, almost no contact. This is the extreme approach and produces the deepest results, but it's not realistic for most people. The second approach is the bimodal philosophy. Divide your time clearly between periods of deep work and periods of shallow availability. Some people dedicate entire days or weeks to deep work, then return to normal connectivity for the rest of the time. This works well for academics, researchers, and senior professionals. The third approach is the rhythmic philosophy, and this is the most practical for most people. Simply schedule a specific block of deep work into every single day, same time, same place, every day. 3 hours every morning before the world wakes up, 2 hours every evening after the family is asleep. A consistent rhythm that your brain and body begin to anticipate. The fourth approach is the journalistic philosophy, switching into deep work mode whenever time becomes available. This requires enormous mental discipline and is very difficult to develop. Newport does not recommend it for beginners. For most people, start with the rhythmic philosophy. Pick your 2 to 3 hours, protect them like your life depends on it, and show up every single day. The role of rituals. Here's something that surprised most readers when this book was first published. Newport argues that willpower alone is not enough to sustain deep work over time. Willpower is a finite resource. Every decision you make throughout the day draws from the same limited pool of mental energy. By the time evening comes, most people have nothing left. The solution is not more willpower. The solution is better rituals. The most productive deep workers in history did not rely on motivation or discipline to sit down and focus. They created specific, consistent rituals that removed the need for decision-making entirely. Same location every time, same starting signal, same preparation routine, same rules during the session. When your brain associates a specific place and time with the act of deep, focused work, it begins entering that focused state automatically, without struggle, without negotiation, without willpower battles. Newport also talks about the importance of downtime. Rest is not the enemy of deep work, it's the partner. A mind that never rests cannot sustain deep focus. A mind that rests properly through genuine disconnection, nature walks, quality sleep, and true leisure comes back to deep work sharper, stronger, and more capable than one that is always half connected and never fully off. Quit social media. This is the chapter that creates the most debate every time this book is discussed. Newport makes a bold, uncomfortable argument that most knowledge workers should seriously consider quitting most social media platforms entirely. Not because social media is inherently evil, but because of what it does to your attention over time. Every time you check a notification, your brain shifts out of focused mode, and research shows returning to full focus after an interruption takes an average of 23 minutes. 23 minutes per interruption. In a world where the average person checks their phone dozens of times per day, the math is devastating. Newport introduces what he calls the any benefit mindset, the belief that if a tool has any benefit at all, it deserves a place in your life. He argues this mindset is dangerously wrong. Instead, apply what he calls the craftsman approach. Only adopt a tool if its benefits substantially outweigh its costs and if it supports your most important professional and personal goals. By this standard, most social media platforms fail the test for most people most of the time. The question is not whether social media has some benefit. The question is, at what cost to your attention, your focus, and your ability to do your best work? Drain the shallows. The final major principle Newport teaches is deceptively simple. Schedule every minute of your workday. Not to create a rigid, joyless schedule, but to make intentional decisions about how every hour is spent, rather than drifting through the day reacting to whatever demands your attention loudest. Newport recommends a practice called time blocking. Divide your day into blocks. Assign each block a specific task or type of work. When interruptions happen, and they will, adjust the schedule, but always be intentional. Always be the one deciding what deserves your time. He also recommends being ruthlessly honest about how much time shallow work actually requires. Most people dramatically overestimate how much time they need for email and meetings, and dramatically underestimate how much deep work they are capable of producing in a focused, uninterrupted block. Start with 1 hour of protected deep work tomorrow morning. Just 1 hour. Phone off, notifications silenced, one task, full attention. Then notice what you produce in that 1 hour compared to a typical distracted hour of scattered work. That difference, that gap in output and quality, that's what Newport is talking about, and it's available to you every single day. Let us bring together the greatest lessons from deep work. 1. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks. It is rare, it is valuable, and it can be trained. 2. Shallow work feels productive but creates little lasting value. Protect your deep work hours from shallow work invasion. 3. Choose a deep work philosophy that fits your life. For most people, the rhythmic philosophy works best. Same time, same place, every day. 4. Build rituals that remove the need for willpower. Make deep work automatic, not effortful. 5. Be honest about what social media is costing your attention. Apply the craftsman approach to every tool in your life. 6. Schedule every minute intentionally. Be the one who decides where your time goes, not the notifications, not the emails, not the requests of others. Cal Newport ends with a truth that is both challenging and inspiring. A deep life is a good life. The ability to focus, to give your full mind to the things that matter most, is not just a professional advantage. It is a way of living with more meaning, more satisfaction, and more genuine contribution to the world. That is the essence of deep work, and that is what we do here at Book Essence. We take the world's most powerful books and unlock their wisdom so you can start applying it to your life starting today. If this video brought you value, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their focus. Every week on Book Essence, a new book, a new lesson, a new chance to grow. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and keep unlocking your essence. See you in the next one.